Good evening, everyone. This is Jason Whitney with 3Believe. It is April 27th, year 2017. It snowed today in Salt Lake. Didn't stick to the ground, and I understand it's cold all over the country, and so that's not unusual. One thing that's interesting when weather changes from season to season, your body also goes through a change, seasonal change. That's why some physiologies people have a problem when they change from climate to climate when they move or they visit, and the climate is very different. It's because their body is not used to such a rapid change. But your body is actually an adaptogen. It adapts to those changes. And so moving from one season to the next season is actually a good thing. It's not unusual that the human body actually is prone to put on just a little bit more body fat in the winter months and then leans back out in the warmer climate. Now, when I talk about body fat, we're talking about a very, very small amount, but an extra layer on the just under the epidermis, subcutaneous fat, just under the skin, is all the body's looking for, is to keep the core body temperature, or keep it easier to have the body temperature stay the same. And so we're only talking about maybe a pound and a quarter of extra weight during the winter months. And so after you've been on the protocol for a year's time and you notice that your weight comes back up a little bit during the winter months, do not panic. Nothing's wrong. It hasn't stopped working. That's your body actually recognizing that seasonal change and getting ready for the winter. So tonight I have a couple of different topics that I want to go over. I want to first draw your attention to the website. If you go to the website, you'll see that at the top there's a new button that's been added called Testimonies. Now, the testimonies are not finished, but there are some in there, and I want to kind of explain the philosophy of the testimonies that are there so far. If you go to it right now, you'll see that there's a bold, dark phrase, and I'll read what it says. How do you feel now? And in parentheses, it says physical well-being compared to before the protocol. Please give details. These were actual questions on a form that were given out to users, and they answered, and their testimony was answering this specific question. And then I'll go to the next question down below, and the question is in bold, and the answer is in italicized form. And so I'm always kind of a little troubled when I go and read a testimony, whether it be an electronic or an automobile or a nutrient, a food product. I don't want to go through all the testimonies. Now, I don't know if it's as I get older, I'm more impatient, and I just don't have that much time, or I don't like to read that much. I don't know what it is, because I'm a prolific reader, and I think what it is that I want to read a testimony that has something to do with me personally. I want to know if this product is going to be able to answer and solve the problems that I personally am hoping that it can resolve. And so with the testimony section that we have, when it's finished, what it'll have in there, it'll have a search feature, just like in the internet. You'll have a bar. You can type in a keyword, and that keyword will, let's just say you typed in diabetic. It will then go down and highlight all the testimonies that have to do with diabetes or blood sugar, something to do with that. So if you have something, testimony that you want to learn about weight or blood pressure or cholesterol or stiff joints or soreness or cognitive thinking, they'll be segmental. so that you can go and look under the topic of testimony that you want, that's particular to your need and your interest, and you don't have to read through all of them. That is why when you go to the website, when it's finished with the testimony section, you may read a same testimony more than once, because it may pertain to more than just one topic. Or you may see a person's name, and that person's name appears a couple of times. It's not unusual as you send in your testimonies to me, because I know you will, because you love me so much, and that you'll go ahead and send those in to me like I've asked. If you will send those in, and you may see the same name over and over and over again. It's not because we're duplicating it, trying to make it longer. It's because your testimony covers several different areas. Now, which leads to the next question. Why when someone sends me a testimony, or you read one with the 3Believe protocol, why does it touch on so many different issues? And the reason is quite simple. Not because it's a miracle cure-all. It's simply because when the body is given the absolute necessities of macronutrients and micronutrients, then our body has no other option but to respond in a positive manner. Therefore, the more deficient you are in a particular macro or micronutrient, the more you're in need of it, the more you're going to notice the change, because I'm giving you such a high level of nutrients in every single serving. I don't know how many you're going to be able to get in a day, so I give you 100% in every single serving. In fact, if you compare it to other RDA percentages, we actually give you more than what's on there, than that's on the label, meaning that when I say 100%, you're actually getting more than that, because the nutrients that I've added to the formula have clinically been shown to increase the bioavailability of some of the nutrients as much as 1,200%. Now, in accordance to the FDA and the RDA standards of measurement, I can't say that your vitamin B is 1,200% higher, because they don't recognize those standards that the clinical studies have shown to be the amount of increase. It doesn't mean that it's not true. It doesn't mean that it's not accurate. It just means that they don't make a place for it as you translate it to the RDA. Now remember, the RDA means recommended daily allowance. Just a standard that the government had come up with, something to be able to give you a chance to measure your vitamin C or your vitamin A by. And so when you look on there, I can't represent, because they haven't created, the RDA measurement tool has not created a methodology or a measuring stick, if you will, that would be accurate, and I can't lie. I can't make one up for them. So until they catch up and they update the measurement standard, you'll just have to read some of the other literature that I'll give you and feel confident that the amount that you're getting is more than what's actually on the label. So let's go back to the testimonies. I'm going to read a couple of them to you, and I want you, if you can, kind of see the theme that I'm trying to point at. What is the theme of this message or this testimony? Now, the first ones, they're short, so bear with me. The first one is all from the same person, okay? So I'm going to go back to that first question. How do you feel now compared to before the protocol? And this woman answered, since being on the 3Believe protocol, I've noticed a significant increase in my energy levels. My busy schedule, I used to come home from a long day and want to sit down on the couch and go to bed early. Now that I'm on the protocol, I can come home after work and have energy to work out, do my homework, run errands, and take care of my family. I can keep going until I'm ready to go to bed. I used to get so frustrated with how tired I always felt. Now I feel great having energy to do what I want makes me a much happier person. Next question. What things can you do now that you could not or not as well before comfortably? 3Believe protocol and my health coach have taught me to tune into my body. I know that what my body needs to perform at its best. I had reached a plateau in my weight loss and fitness goal, and 3Believe protocol had quickly helped me to overcome my roadblock. Now I have strength and the energy to push my body harder while working out, which delivers results much quicker. I no longer have the soreness in my muscles that prevented me from staying consistent with exercise. I can feel the difference in my muscles now that they're being nourished properly. Now remember, this is the same woman. Let's go on to the next one. How has your mood and cognitive thought improved? For me, the 3Believe protocol has dramatically changed my overall mood. I used to get irritated and angry at the smallest offense. Now I'm able to stay calm even in a stressful situation. The protocol has evened out any chemical imbalance I had, and any general outlook on life is much more positive and happy. My cognitive thought has also increased. I think that being able to get good, solid sleep has helped this tremendously. I no longer have the urge to take a nap in the middle of the day. It feels so nice to wake up when my alarm goes off and not want to bury my head under the pillow. How many of us have that feeling? Well, not me. I think I have actually become a morning person. I didn't expect these kinds of results from the protocol. It has been a great, great surprise. How has it affected your finances? Was the next question. Before my husband and I started the protocol, we loved to go out for nice dinners with friends where we would easily spend a lot of money. We also made weekly trips to the grocery store and spent a couple of $100s on food for the week. Since being on the protocol, we have actually saved money because we don't have the need or the desire to go out and eat as much or spend so much on food. I want to live a long and healthy life, so I consider the knowledge and health benefits of the protocol to be a good investment in myself. Next question. How important impact does the coaching or the coach have on your life success? If it weren't for my health coach, I feel like I probably would have given up at some point. Knowing that I will hear from my health coach on a regular basis gives me a sense of accountability. I don't want to let my health coach or myself down, so when I am faced with temptations, I just think of that. It's nice to know that if I have concerns or questions, I can contact my coach or go and read the reference material at any time. I like that week. I like that each week I learn something new, and it helps me understand more about why I'm doing what I am. Here's the next question. How easy is it to tell people about your success with 3Believe, and was it easy to refer people? I have never been so excited to talk to people about my health before. My coworkers love talking to me about my progress, and each time I see my friends, they comment on how skinny I am. It's easy to tell people about what I am doing and tell them that even though it can sometimes be challenging, it is totally worth it. I love waking up each morning knowing that I am treating my body right, and I look forward to making healthy choices all day. I have never felt more proud of how I am treating my body. I can finally hold my head up high and talk to people about my choices with confidence. And then the last one, any other thoughts or comments? And she says, I was very hesitant at first to start the protocol because I was afraid to give up foods that I thought I was emotionally attached to. However, overcoming the emotional attachment to food has made me a much stronger person overall. Food no longer dictates my life. I no longer feel the need to use food to celebrate life's events. Instead, I go out and live my life without fear of limitations, and each day now feels like a celebration of my healthy choices. I'm surprised that something as simple as modifying my diet has changed my life overall. I can't wait to see what else the future holds. I am now confident that the knowledge I will have The knowledge that I have will help me to consistently better my loved ones and myself. Bonnie Stay was that woman's name. Now, did you notice any trend or a particular tonality of those comments and testimonies? Did you notice that in that testimony, she didn't say anything about weight loss? She didn't talk about their dress size. Now, you will see the testimony on here that she lost a lot of inches and she lost a lot of weight, but she didn't mention anything about it. And what I want to bring to your attention is simply this, that this protocol that you have the choice and power to use for yourself and share with those that you come in contact with is more than just a weight loss. In fact, weight loss is the small part of what the whole program is about. Weight loss is merely a side effect that you're going to benefit by going on it. If you follow it, then your body has no other choice but to lose the unnecessary or unwanted fat that your body doesn't need because of the balance of the macro and micronutrients that you're getting. And all those elements that Bonnie was talking about were things that all of us face. These are all issues that we face many times a day, and that we hear our friends and loved ones talk about how they wish their life was better on those topics that I just read. And so remember, as you're thinking about continuing the protocol, sharing it with your loved ones, remember that this is so much more than a weight loss program. And so, again, I'm excited about these testimonies. I want to literally have hundreds of them on each topic, but I need your help. I need your help to put them in. And as you write your testimony, do it in that manner. Write it on every topic that you can. It doesn't, don't feel like you have to do it just on weight loss. I know it's a popular one, but it is definitely not the majority of the issues. So I know that we have a gentleman amongst our group, Mr. Chapman, I believe, and he is 92 years young, if I remember correctly. And if you remember, he did not want to lose weight. In fact, he went on the protocol with the hopes that he would gain weight. And the weight that he was talking about is muscle mass. Well, there's another gentleman. He's a spring chicken compared to Dean. He's 83 years old, and he fell and broke his shoulder a couple of years ago. I think 18 months ago. And since that time, he's been on a downward spiral. He has lost a tremendous amount of weight. When I first saw him, his skin was translucent on his face and his arms. I mean, it was very clear and very thin. He had kind of a grayish color to it, and dark circles under his eyes. He was very fragile and not steady in his walk. His hands were very cold when I shook it, and he was not doing well. And so he had the same desire. Put weight on me. Now his wife, she is 79 years old, just turned 80 last week actually, and she wanted to lose some weight. She wasn't terribly overweight, but she had some that she wanted to lose. And I learned from other family members that she has wanted to lose weight for more than 40 years and just has not been successful with the diet that she's on. And this is the first time that she has ever been successful at 79 years old and has an abundance of energy. But back to the gentleman. This man's name is Kay, and my main focus was to put muscle on this man and to hydrate him more. Over the coming weeks, he has gained 10 pounds of pure muscle mass, which is tremendous. That's amazing to do. He has not been doing that because he's in the gym pumping iron, just taking the shakes. and he is taking extra oil, just like I suggested to Mr. Chapman, is to take extra oil to give him that energy and to give the building blocks of the body building that muscle tissue and the energy for them to move around. And just after a month's time, he looks, I know this sounds like a cliche, but he looks 10, 15 years younger. He has the pink color back in his face. I saw him today, as a matter of fact. He came in and his color was back. It wasn't translucent anymore. His hands weren't cold. He walked with a firm stride, not shaky and wavering back and forth. I got to tell you, it's a miracle what food can do and the right balance of them. And so all of you have those type of people that fall into some of those categories. So this is most definitely not a diet program only. And in these two gentlemen, these two cases that I've mentioned, it is a diet program of gaining muscle mass. Remember, any diet, or actually any food that you put in your mouth is a diet. It can be a healthy one or it can be an unhealthy one. Nevertheless, food that you put in your mouth is the diet of your choice. And so make a wise one. So that's how the testimonies, watch for that. More and more will be going up, but rather than wait for all of them to be done and finished, I thought I'd just have them put up some testimonies. You can see that it's actually there. And again, I'm going to make the plea, send them to me. I know that they're out there, for heaven's sakes. I want to hear from you. I want to brag about you. I've told you how it inspires me. And so please send that. Next topic. Let's talk about the smart foods and the commissions on them. Now, to be honest with you, I don't recall whether I've gone into great depth on the webinar, but let's do so now. I know I've had it in conversation, but let's do it and have it recorded for posterity. The smart foods are a more expensive product to make, having to do with the profit margins. Meaning the profit that we make on smart foods is not the same as it is on the powders and the oil. And that's mostly because of labor. We can make a lot of powder and a lot of the oil at all at one time with a lower amount of labor. Very expensive ingredients, but when labor is taken out of that, we can make thousands and thousands of pounds an hour. Where with the rolls and with the pot pies and with the pizza and so forth, the labor is much, much greater. And so to make it simpler on your commission plan, because I didn't want you to have to remember in your head, I'm making 20% on the meal replacement and the oil, but I'm making 12% on rolls, and I'm making 13% on the chips, and I'm making 9% on the croissants, and I'm making 16% on something else. You see my point? It's too confusing. So in order to fix that problem, what I've done is assigned a product value, a PV, to every one of the smart foods. And so we're going back through and making sure that we have our most current cost on those product value and establishing a number. That's why on the purchase, you will see the purchase price on the page, and then you'll see a PV and a number after that. That PV will represent what you are paid on. That's what the commission will be based on. So if it says that the retail price is $10 and the PV is $7 or $7, then that means that you're paid on the $7. And in your mind, you just know that, well, that's a greater labor cost than what it cost Jason to make the powder and the oil. And every single smart food item that has sold since January 1 will be paid to the corresponding sales rep. So they'll all be back paid. So feel confident in that. I'm having a couple of people work on that, going through all the items, and it's a pretty laborious job. But going through all that, and I haven't talked to him for a few days because I'm letting him work on through that, and I've been working through some other stuff. And they will report back to me as soon as possible. And I will not give you an exact day, but I did talk with them today, and they said that they're getting towards the end of that project. So I expect it'll be very soon. And then you'll get a reporting of your smart foods, those that have earned the commission, and you'll receive a nice little check for that. So that's the explanation of the smart foods. I want to talk about, I know there's been some questions about the essential oils. I already have the formula for the essential oils. I think I've mentioned that before. We have the technology to do that. I haven't started doing any further work with the matching what fortification or functional item we're going to put with what oil. To be honest with you, I want to do some more research on that, and I am devoting so much time to getting everything else launched for 3B so we can go into full mode of not being in pre-launch, that I have not done that. And so we will, after we launch, then I'll start focusing our efforts on that. I wanted to go over another topic that's been a little while, and that is the generational bonus. And so let me spend a little bit of time on that, and you'll see this posted in a printed form. Well, let me explain it just briefly. There'll be, in the form, it'll have all the final details. And I won't go into that tonight because I don't want to put you to sleep, but I want to explain to you some things I'm kind of excited about. There had been some suggestions. The first time I'd sent it out to you, some people were concerned about that they would not be able to be qualified for those bonuses. Now, let me explain to you why I did that. Why did Jason go in and change the requirement of the generational bonus to what it is now? In fact, maybe I better go back and explain what generational bonus is. There is the first commission, which is the unilevel, meaning when you enroll, when you're the sponsor of someone and you put them in your downline and they're on your first level, as you know, you get 45% of whatever they purchase that's commissionable. Now what that means is the scale that they buy and the measuring tape and the blood test, that's not commissionable because I'm not making any money on it. I don't mark that up. That's not commissionable. But all the other foods and the meal replacement, the oil is commissionable, of course. So you get 45% of that, which is a big deal. Then on the second month, you get 20%. Now you get 45 on the first because no one else is getting any commission on that whatsoever. Even the person enrolled you, when you enroll someone else below you, your enroller doesn't make any money on them on the first month. It's just you. I felt it very, very important that you get rewarded with that fast start bonus. That lasts for 1 month. And so if you can talk them into making a year supply purchase in 1 month, then I guess you made a windfall. But that's a pretty big bill. That's probably not a good idea to do. Then the second month you get 20%. Okay. Now if that person enrolls someone underneath them, you get 5% on that. That's your unilevel 2 or your level 2. And then when that person enrolls someone, that will be your third level, you get 10%. That's called unilevel, right? But that's where it stops. Well, that's pretty unique. There's not a lot of companies that go at 3%. In fact, I don't know any that do. You might know some, but I don't know any. I haven't been able to find any current ones. There used to be some old ones years and years ago, but not any current ones. And then there's something that I created called the generational bonus. Now that's for your group that's below your third level. So everything below your third level is generational, all right? And so that's the bonus that I'm talking about. That's the one that people were a little, well, should we say less satisfied or concerned? Now I'm gonna tease you just a little bit, but do it with just gobs and gobs of love and respect. Here's the tease. You didn't believe in yourself quite as much as I believed in you. Also, you didn't believe in the capability of what the 3Believe opportunity could provide you. Now, I understand that part of that's because of what you've been taught with all the other experiences that you've been in the other companies. It is so hard to get other people to enroll into a business opportunity. One, because the product was not a foundational staple item, meaning it wasn't something that they were buying every month before you came along. Well, food is something that they've been buying long before you came and started talking to them about 3Believe. That's a foundational staple item. It's already in their budget. All you're asking them to do, instead of buying it at the grocery store or a fast food restaurant, they buy it from you and do their body and their health some good. And so that's one reason why it's going to make a huge difference in your business. The next thing is that the value. I don't know of another meal. In fact, I challenge you to find it, because if you do, I'll buy it for you. A food that has the same or greater nutritional value, density that the meal that we have together for you at 3Believe for $3.57 each. That's just tremendous. That's what a great value. And so that's a difference. And through those two main mechanisms, and the way then is the third one, is how we pay that fast start bonus makes all the difference. That makes all the difference in how your business can grow, because the reality is there isn't another business opportunity that can match those realities, those business building foundation blocks to make your empire something of real substantial value. Now, I understand that you didn't believe in that because you couldn't experience it, or you haven't experienced it. So rather than tell you that to have faith and just trust me, I went ahead and did what you asked. So I created a generational bonus, and I call it G1. G for generational and 1 for the first level. I've created 4 levels. The first one being there's 2 qualifiers. And one is called PE, that is personal enrollment. That's how many people you personally enroll and the value of them. For example, if you personally enroll one person and they're on phase 1, then that is a PV of 300, all right, that person has. And you get more people, you have more PV, right? So there's a requirement on G1 of $1,500. And then in GV, group volume, you have another qualifier, 25,000. Now, if you remember, mine was much greater than that. And some of the programs that were being submitted to me, their requirement was greater than what I just read. And the reason why is because I want you to catch a vision of how easy it is for you to accomplish this task. All you have to do is just talk to the people you know. They are already interested and you can achieve the G1. So let's go back over it again. G1 is $1,500 worth of volume. The group volume is 25,000. For that, you will get an extra 1% override. So that means that 1% of 25,000 would be $250 on top of your unit level. So everything you're making from level 1 through 3 is added to that 1%. Now, G2 is $3,000 of personal enrollment. You enroll some more people, right? And then your group volume is 75,000. Then your percentage is 1.5%. Now, here's something that I'm hoping that you get really excited about. So that means that if your group volume, you've qualified, you have $1,500 dollars worth of people you personally sponsored, and your group volume is $74,999, just a hair under $1 under that $75 mark. You're making 1% on that amount. So you're making almost $7,000 or $700, right? Extra. As soon as you break into the 75,000 group volume and you have 3,000 in your personal enrollment, now you make 1.5%, another 0.5% on all of it, including the $25,000 and all that up to the 75 that you were just making 1% on. That's kind of nice, isn't it? So you get actually two bonuses. You get more money because you went from 25,000 to 75,000. That's just a mathematical increase, but we pay you an extra 0.5% for it. And then for G3, there's 6,000 in personal enrollment and 250,000. Then you get 2% for that entire group. And then in G4, that's 12,000 of PE and 650,000, and you get 2.5% for the entire group volume. So those are some pretty substantial numbers. Now I want to draw your fact to some mathematical realities. Now I don't mean to pick on anybody, but it's so hard not to pick on these companies when it's so obvious of what they're doing. Now, I've had some people say to me, Jason, why is your level only 3 levels deep? I'm looking at a plan, where is it? Oh, here it is. I'm looking at a plan right here that pays 8 levels deep, 8 levels. Now, this company did it a little bit different than others, and they are getting great applause for it, of being champions of fairness and helping out these distributors. And you know what it is? You see, typically what a company will do is they'll put, I'll just use a common percentage, they'll put, they get 8% on their first level, all right? Now, I don't want to make fun of them, but ours is 20%, you know, and theirs is 8. But, you know, let's not poke fun at weaknesses. And then their second level will be 8%. And then their third level is 7%, and then their next level is 6, and then it goes 6, and then it goes 5, all right? That's what a lot of companies do. Now this company, this brand new one, I won't say the name, they're getting a lot of attention because they flip-flopped it, okay? They said, why don't we do this? As the group gets bigger down on the 8th level, let's pay them the bigger percentage. So instead of paying them 8% on level 1, let's pay them 3%. Or I'm sorry, 2% is what they pay. So they paid 2% on level 1, and they paid 2% on level 2. Then they pay 3 and 3, 4 and 4, and they go all the way down until they get hit 8%. And everybody's cheering with how wonderful this is. Now you add it all up, and it adds up to 34%. Now, if you compare that to our plan, you get 35% in your first 3 levels. Now, let me explain to you in the back room of why they do it this way. Now, I'm not saying they're bad people at all, because they're not. They're wonderful people. They're just doing it the same way that everyone else has always done it. They're just following the pack, and there's nothing wrong with being a follower, unless you want to be a leader, and you want to do something different. You want to do something crazy, something meaningful, something terrific. And so what they did was they didn't want to bring attention to the raw facts of reality. And the reality is that that several agencies, including the federal government, has done a study, and they found that out of all the MLMs in the country, that 99.5% of all those people lose money. 0.5% of the people that join an MLM make money. Now, what does that mean? What was their definition of making money? They took simply how much they're paying every month, and they subtracted it from how much they got a check for. That's it. Very simple math. And they found that 99.5% lost money. Okay? Now, in a business enterprise, that's a bad idea. Now, one unique thing with our business is that you'll never lose money. Even if you don't make a check because of you don't establish a downline, you'll still not lose money. And the reason why is I'm going back to that first foundational difference that we have. We're providing a food. Well, they're already buying food and they're paying more than $3.57 a meal for it. So they're already ahead of the game. So that's pretty powerful. If you remember and watch that video that I sent out a month or so ago that explained the real cost of our program, it's really only costing us, based on the USDA, the federal government, the Restaurant Association, and what the average American spends on food, it's only costing you $60 a month. $60. That's it. It's not costing you $300. It's costing you $60. Now, that is not included the people that are working and spending all their money at lunch every day when they're spending $15 for lunch. For heaven's sakes, how many complete meal replacements does that pay for? CMRs are only $3.57. Well, you don't have to do a lot of math to divide $3.57 into $15. That pays for a lot of meals. And so what I'm trying to point out is the fact that when you have a matrix that's paying down to 8 levels, the reality is that most of the people, 99.5, will never get there. So that big number that they have is not a reality that's going to be realized for 99.5% of the people. And I don't like those odds. I want every one of you to win and succeed. Now, if you take the CMR, you've already succeeded because your health has already improved. And you've already feel better. You've felt the difference. And then financially, I want you to improve as well. And that's why we built the plan the way we did, is so that you can make 35% as fast in 3 levels as this other company is making in 8 levels. It's much sooner because it's a greater reality. You know, I'm a smart guy, I think, but I can't see 8 generations down. That's just too far away for me to visualize, but I can see 3. I can see Callie, and I can see Robert, and I can see Bill. In fact, I know all 3 of them. But down below that, it gets too far. It gets too convoluted. And so that's why we did it this way. And so I changed the generational bonus so that you can see it. It's realistic. You'll achieve it. And the details of that will be coming out. But they're independent of each other. Unilevel commission is independent of the generational bonus. I will show you in upcoming videos. I've commissioned a studio, and we're going to start shooting videos. I've commissioned all day long, at least 1 day a week, where we go in and we'll shoot 10 videos at a time. Whew. It's going to be a lot of work in 1 day. I'll be having lots of CMRs. And one of the videos will be explaining this in detail of how much of a reality this is for you to be able to make a very reasonable amount of money within a short period of time. And I am committed. I told you before, I'm committed to help you with your business. Part of those videos and systems and software and tricks of the trade of how to get other people involved by using social media or doing it the old-fashioned way. There's nothing wrong with doing in-home meetings and parties by sampling our great and awesome foods. And so all that will be in video. I will have real tools for you, okay? So that goes over the generational bonus that you've been waiting for. It's better than, so far, everyone that sent in what their request been, it's better than what any of them had asked for. So I feel good about the fact that I overachieved on their expectations, and things are moving well, very, very nicely. I'm going to end earlier tonight, and so I'm going to open it up real quick for 3 questions. And let me open it up here. Okay, Merv, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Very good.
Good, good. Now, do you or let me ask you a question first. Do you have any questions you want that anyone has asked you that you know someone wants to get an answer to?
I think you covered most of the questions that have been asked. Yes. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You covered the key questions.
All right. Let's open it up to the group then. Anyone out there that has a question I can answer for you?
Any questions, anyone? Anybody?
Okay. I do have one question that came in on email. I'll just answer in case any of you have been thinking about it. What if in the ordering, when you placed orders and may have been a little bit of confusion, and you ordered the wrong formula. You ordered the P22 when you're supposed to be on the P6, or vice versa. What's going to happen in that case? Well, now remember the main functional difference between those formulas. The only thing that's really different is the enzyme blend, the mixture of those digestive enzymes, and those differences are particular to the amount and ratio of the proteins that are in that formula. For example, I have my batch of enzyme blend over here for the P22, and I have also a batch of enzyme blend that's different than the P6. Okay? But they both have complete spectrums of digestive enzymes, and they both have proteins. They're just a different blend. If you take one, the P6, and you're supposed to be on the P22 or vice versa, and you're on it for a week or two, it doesn't mean you're not going to have success. They're designed to make sure that you continue to have success over a more of a prolonged period of time. Your body's not going to respond that quickly with something that's that marginally different. So don't panic. Go ahead and use it. You'll be fine. If you have any more pertinent questions, I think we've been pretty good with answering those. Send it in to customer support at 3believe.com. Or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Send it in to support at 3believe.com. And we will answer those. If support can't answer it, they always feel it back up to me, and then I get them answered. And so I know that was one question. In asking that, did anyone else come up with a question?
Anybody have any questions? Why? Now's your chance to ask Jason. Anybody?
All right, very good.
That's good.
I appreciate it. Now I will let me explain. Let me give you one example of a person. Here is a of a person that started back when we first opened for pre-launch. So they started the very 1st of January, and it was a woman, and she started. She got in. Let me get this right. She got in 14 people that she personally sponsored. And then she had a couple of things. She had just a bad run of luck. She got sick with an infection, and then she had some issues at work that just worked her to death, and just she didn't have any extra time. So after she enrolled those 13 people, 13 was it? I think, yeah, 13. She didn't do anything else at all. She just didn't have time at all for it. But those 13 people stayed on, and they enrolled a couple of people. Nothing gangbusters, nothing crazy. But from January to February to March, in that 3-month period of time, she's received a commission paycheck of just under $3,000. That's not too shabby. What a blessing it is for that woman that fell on some hard times. Now she's invigorated and excited to be able to come back. But what a shot in the arm, you know. Now, no one's going to go and live on the Riviera with that kind of money. They're not. She's not financially independent. But what a blessing it was for her. She put in some hard work. She was able to help engage 13 people, and those people had great success. Some of the testimonies I've told you about were from that group of people, and it brought her in $3,000. What a great benefit. Now it motivated her to be able to pick up the plow and stick it back in the dirt and do some more work, and that can happen for anyone. She was nothing special. She's a wonderful person, but she didn't have any special skills or needs or, abilities or opportunity. She didn't catch on to any wild, superhuman person. She's just regular people, and that was it. So I encourage you to have faith. Continue to do the same thing that we talk about.
I have a question.
So be mindful of that. Yes, go ahead and ask the question.
I wanted to know if your peanut butter has the fungus that most peanut butters have. Is very hard to get rid of for many people, that fungus. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about? There's
Yes.
a name for it.
Yes. So there is a fungus in peanuts, and it is more prevalent at different seasonal years. Mostly what happens is just a little bit of background. When you have a very drought area and then you have a wet season that follows, it has a tendency that the fungus is more prevalent in the crop in that following drought year, when it's really heavily watered or rainy. Then the fungus is more prolific. And there's been some issues, some scares around the country that the fungus is not healthy, and it can cause some havoc. Now, here's the realities. If you remember back in a couple of decades ago, we had this scare about alar on our apples, and oh my goodness, that was a terrible thing. If you had alar, your arms and legs were going to fall off. I think the actress Fonda was a big advocate of pushing and telling everybody to boycott apples. Well, after a short period of time, studies came back out and said that the alar was actually a nutritional benefit. It wasn't it's so bad of a scare that everybody said it was. But I'm not saying that the fungus is a benefit. What I'm saying is that it gets a little bit blown out of proportion. The truth is that any and all peanuts could have fungus on it or in a batch. There are tests, and our peanuts that we buy are double tested. They're tested when they come in from the plant, and then they're processed, and then they're tested before they're put into the jars, or put into the big vats that we buy. We do not grind our own peanuts. We buy them in a paste, and then we add our own sweetener to it, because there's a little bit of sweetness, but it's our sweetener in it, and then we add our fat blocker to it. And they're tested twice, and all our batches come up 0, so there's no fungus in it. But that's at detectable levels. Could it be that there might be 1 part per billion of this fungus in a batch? Absolutely, there could be, but it's not detectable. All peanuts are susceptible that could have the fungus. Just because you get some of the fungus does not mean that you're going to be infected. Just the same as that if you get germs in your mouth or in a wound does not mean that you're going to get sick or infected. And so the answer that I'm giving you is, don't have a knee-jerk reaction to every scare out there. This is not just what am I trying to say, a meaningless topic. Fungus is not good, and that's why we have our batch and we buy the peanuts from sources that test it twice. So all our reports, there is none of our reports, we haven't had to reject any so far. Let's cross our fingers. And if we do, then we'll continue our testing and perhaps look for another source, but so far that has not been the case. Good question. Any other question? We have
Can
one
I
more.
ask another question?
Sure.
I want to find out if you will ever make cookies without egg.
Cookies without egg.
Anything without egg. Most of your products have some egg in it.
We have several products that don't have egg in our product. We are actually coming out with some new cookies. Those particular recipes will not have egg in it. We've been working with a company out of Australia that has a formula, a product that we've been working with a little, that's a complete egg substitute. Now most of the other ones that are natural based they're just not very good. This one actually has some promise to it. And so we're continuing testing it in all the different situations to see if that's a good mix. And so if that's the case, and it doesn't cause any functional issues as far as production and quality, then we will change and replace all of our products with this egg substitute, simply to make it available for those that have allergic reactions to egg protein. So the goal is that we will replace it if it can continue to meet muster. So good question. We continue to improve ourselves. I thank you again for all of your comments and your testimonies. Please send those that haven't sent any, or if you have any new ones, you're going to have new experiences, please send them to me. And I read every one of them personally, and we'll post them on the website. So thank you again, everyone. God bless you all, and have a happy, safe, and productive evening.
Thank you, Jason. Good call. God bless you.
And you.